I agree with you. And I want to touch on one thing related to sort of this innovation boom that a lot of investors are expecting right now. And that is Trump just announced Howard Lutnick for Commerce Secretary. And I know Lutnick was in the running for Treasury Secretary. And you recently sat down with him for an interview. What do you make of this nomination?
Well, one of the big things I took away from my conversation with Howard was he's very pro-tariff. He really understands global trade, and he had a lot of really interesting ideas on what the United States could be doing in those fronts. The Commerce Secretary, that is one of the big things that they focus on, is he's going to be heavily involved in tariff and trade. And so I think that it's a great position. Frankly, I think that when a lot of these people get put in these positions, we tend to think, oh, wow, so-and-so got this role or this job or whatever. One of the things I think gets lost in the conversation is, Howard's a pretty successful guy. He don't got to be working. He didn't need to go do this. He didn't need to go serve his country. And sure, are there benefits to doing this? Is there intellectual stimulation? Is there the possibility that he can actually help and make an improvement? Of course. But I also think that we should be thanking these people. There's a lot of smart people who have been nominated in cabinets, not only in this administration, but in Biden's, in Trump's previous one, in Obama, in Bush, in Clinton, et cetera. These people are serving their country. And so, sure, they don't have necessarily a uniform, not carrying guns in the military, but it's an act of service to the country that I think is really important and commendable. And so the more that I think we can commend these people, make it something that is a high status thing. Tell people, look at this man. This guy is rich. He doesn't need to do this, but he wants to do it. He's serving the country, regardless of Republican, Democrat, independent, anything. More smart people will want to go and do it. And so I joke all the time that I used to say, are any of your smartest friends trying to go into the government? I can now emphatically say yes. I have had multiple people text me after that interview with Howard, and they said, if he's looking for somebody that can do X, tell him I'm interested. And these are people I was blown away by, not political at all. And I said, really? And a couple of them asked, I said, why? And they said, because it's the right thing to do. Because I believe in the energy of where this is going. And it said, hey, you know what? You're really smart. That's pretty cool. All of a sudden, are we upgrading the people who want to take on these roles? That's good for America. That's good for the long-term health of the country.
Yeah, we need more smart people going from private to public, probably. It's very hard to line up those incentives because I'm sure a billionaire lives a great life without the headaches of being in the government. When you spoke to Howard, what were the things that surprised you about him?
Surprised, maybe the idea of using the balance sheet, in an interesting way. Howard is very pro Bitcoin, but he never explicitly said, hey, take the MicroStrategy type, approach to offensive balance sheet and bring it to the United States. But he talked about a similar idea, probably, and I don't even know if he connected the two, but his general idea was that the United States allegedly has $500 trillion on its balance sheet, buildings, land, mineral rights, et cetera. And he thinks that we can generate at least 25 basis points of revenue off of that $500 trillion. Well, that's a lot of money. That would help us close that kind of annual deficit. And so anytime that you can think outside the box, use these smart people who have a lot of experience to come up with those ideas, I was surprised I'd never heard it before. Because it sounded like a pretty good idea. Now, how you implement it is pretty important. And you got to be able to do it in a way that isn't super disruptive. But I do think that stuff like that is, it's surprising because you're like, hey, I pay attention to this stuff. I never heard this idea before. And it's a good one. Usually the good ideas persist and the bad ones kind of go away. But lately in society, it's been the opposite. The good ideas have been kind of swept under the rug, and bad ideas like taxing unrealized capital gains, it's like the most resilient, dumb idea in the world. And so now hopefully that's switching and these good ideas will become the persistent ones.